So hello there, my name's Daniel Metra and welcome to the review, and this is a review on the Hornby Edward, but this is the reissued one. You've probably seen my other videos, I've got the other one. You've probably seen that I did a review on Edward previously, and that was a different model, and his number was R9232, but this model of Edward is different, and this model of Edward, his number is R9289. You can also see this on the side of the box. So there you got to see Edward running. Like I said, he does run really, really nicely. And one of my favourite stories Edward was actually in was Old Iron, where he saved James after he went off without his driver when some naughty schoolboys started him up. But he saved him and proved his worth, because before then the engines used to tease him a lot. So as I said, this is the reissued Edward. Came out just after 2015 when the range was reintroduced. And they did that especially because it was the 70th birthday. And this year, as you know, the show was 75. And there was a special anniversary episode called Thomas and the Royal Engine, and Edward did appear in that a few times, but he didn't actually speak, but he still appeared. And Bulgy the Bus appeared in it as well, which I thought was quite nice. Anyway, as I said, Edward appeared in that. The only film that Edward's not appeared in is Thomas and the Magic Railroad, which I think's a real shame. You know, but again, in the Royal Engine episode, Toby never appeared, and he's one of my favourite ones. But he was in Thomas and the Magic Railroad and played quite a key part, especially when he made Diesel 10 bring the shed down, which I thought was quite funny. But so nevertheless, you know, I really like this model of Edward, and I actually prefer this model to the other one. You'll probably notice a big difference on this one is the shade of blue that they've used. It's a lot brighter, and as far as I'm concerned, Edward's supposed to be a bright blue engine. And now in the Hornby range, again, Thomas range has been discontinued now, and Hornby no longer make any Thomas products. But Edward, Gordon and Thomas are all the same colour in the reissued range. Previously, they were all different shades of blue, and Edward, in my opinion, was the only one that was really sort of accurate. So like I said, I think this one's a lot better for that reason, really. Another thing as well is with the other Edward, I could uncouple him from his tender from his body. However, this one you can't unless you unscrew it, because like I say, at the bottom it's screwed. And you can see the packaging here, it comes in the new style packaging, and again on the back shows you all the other ones you can buy. But again, nowhere near as many engines as there used to be when the range was out beforehand, which I think is a bit of a shame. I mean, as well with Edward in the CGI animated series, although he still appears, he's no longer part of the Steam team. But I've always thought the Steam team seemed a bit silly, really. You know, because it only features like a few engines, and obviously, of course, there's loads of engines all over the island of Sodor. But the only real difference is that Edward doesn't stay at Tidmouth Sheds anymore. He stays in his own shed at Wellsworth, again, like he did in the TV series, really. So the Railway series, I mean, sorry, because in the Railway series, in the shed, there was always different engines staying in the shed. And again, the TV series as well, so Edward wasn't always in the shed anyway. And it's the same with Henry. He's now moved to Vickerstown with Rosie, and he's not part of the Steam team either. And Henry, of course, was one of the original engines as well. And Edward was actually the first character that was created. A lot of people seem to think that it's Thomas, but it was actually Edward that was the first character created. Again, in some episodes of the TV series, the Steam team and that weren't always in the sheds together. There was different engines staying in the shed sometimes, and Thomas in the Railway series and in the TV series as well used to stay in his own shed in his branch line, so Thomas wasn't always in the shed. So like I said, Edward and Henry still appear, but say just not as much, not classed as key characters anymore, though in my mind they always will be, as they are the originals. And like I said, he's always been one of my, I suppose, one of my favourite engines in a way. But I had a little run of this Edward, and it does run really, really nicely indeed. But like I said, yeah, he's always been, you know, in my opinion, a key character. And they also do Edward in the Bachman range. And if you wanted a model of Edward that looked more like he does in the TV series, like the model era of the show, you're probably best getting Edward. As I said before, though, I think Hornby and Bachman are two different things in a way, because Hornby, you know, a lot of their sort of characters in the Thomas range that they brought out were based upon what the characters look like in the Railway series, whereas whereas Bachmann's more the television series. Obviously now going towards more the CGI series. Another thing as well going on with packaging, I've probably mentioned this before in other videos, and I don't like to over-repeat myself, so I apologise if I do, or if it is annoying, but there was a lot of plastic that comes with the newer range of Thomas Hornby, whereas before it was polystyrene, there wasn't nearly as much plastic. And I thought we were supposed to be doing our bit to protect the environment from plastic, mainly thanks to this man called David Attenborough, who's obviously very well known for doing his documentaries on Blue Planet and things like that, and going on about the plastic in the ocean and all that. So yeah, quite a lot of plastic. And I got this model of Edward from a toy shop in Rushden called Osborne Sports and Toys. And that shop celebrated a special birthday this year. It's now 65 years old, since the company first started. And unfortunately, the man who started it all, Jim Osborne, died a few years ago. But so the rest of the family still run it and that, so it's still open. As well as the toy shop, there's also another shop next door that's got some nice bargains in, called the Original Factory Shop at Rushden. And there's also Rushden Lakes, which is a lot of shops and a really nice place in general, just to have a look round. And that, and yeah, internet shopping is good, and I buy things off the internet myself sometimes. But I actually bought this cheaper in there than I would have done if I'd have bought it on the internet. I've always really liked it in Osborne's, and I think it's great that it's still open. Obviously, when you consider places like Toys R Us have closed down, and other small shops as well. Obviously, Toys R Us wasn't a small shop, but still, So sometimes, if you shop round, you can get the best deals, but it doesn't mean to say that I'll find, another better deal on it another time. But just a case of looking around. Really, I often get people ask me, like in my last video that I done about my postal pack collection, saying, where do I get them? But it's just my opinion. I can't really sort of tell you where to get things from. It's just a case of looking around, really. And obviously, if I see a good shop, then obviously I mention it in the hope that obviously you'll go there as well and see it for yourself as well. But like I said, yeah, I do really like this model of Edward. And as well, when I first started to run him, I was a bit worried because he wasn't running at first, and I thought, I've paid this money for it, and now it's not working. But it was actually the fact that it hadn't gone the track very well. And again, with the tender being connected to the body, I find it a bit hard to get them on and off the track. Certainly this is aimed at a young market as well. It can be quite hard to get these on and off the track, I find. But yeah, no, once I got him on the track, he ran absolutely fine. And like I say, Hornby don't make them anymore. Bachmann do them all now. And I think some of the Bachmann models look really good. And they're supposed to bring out Daisy, the diesel rail car, who's always been one of my favourites. So I'll be quite interested to see how she turns out. She'll probably obviously look like what she does in the CGI animated series. But, to me that doesn't bother me. Model of Daisy is a model of Daisy. It's like, this model of Edward, it doesn't entirely look like what he does like in the TV series, although I'd say it looks more like the Railway series. And that's the thing as well. In some illustrations and that, and even in the TV series, Edward's shade of blue looks a lot darker than it should be. But again, in some of the early books, the illustrations weren't as precise as they were sort of later on. I think it's fair to say. Again, when comparing this model to the previous model they released on Edward, I think the face looks a lot different on this one compared to the other one, mainly the eyebrows. As I said before, the old one sort of reminded me of Edward's face in Series 6, which he pretty much wore up till the end. However, this one looks like a different one of his faces that he had. Obviously, as you know, when it was the model series of the show, the engines had face masks. You can see a few here of Edward's. And again, I really like the model series. I found it, quite creative. And then recently this image has appeared on the internet of Thomas in 2D animation, and I certainly don't think it looks anywhere near as good. Again, when giving this model of Edward a score, it was a little bit hard to decide because, as you can see here on this article, it tells you what tooling Hornby has used, because Hornby didn't pretty much make the models like how Bachmann did. They used tooling for locomotives, and it even says that it gives this model of Edward a taller funnel, because the model on this funnel on Edward's quite tall. Edward's funnel has always been quite short in the TV series and even in the railway series as well. But it does say that here. And yeah, but I do think he looks really nice. And again, if you was to compare this to what Edward would look like in real life, and again some illustrations from the railway series in later books, you know, this is probably more of a railway series sort of feel on Edward. Also, as well, the running board there, it sort of dips down, whereas again in the TV series it was completely flat. So quite different, really. But I do really like this model of Edward, and I do think he looks a lot better than he did previously, mainly because of the blue, I think. But all the details there. And again, some things are the same, like they've not put yellow around his windows that they have there, but then one bit's got like plastic, which is obviously meant to be glass there. The other one's not, it's just a hole. So again, that's the same as it is on the other one. Also as well, that bit there is painted black around his wheels, which I think is good. Because on Gordon and Henry's model, they painted it in green. Well, obviously green for Henry, blue for Gordon. It didn't look quite right, so I think the fact that you've used black there looks good. His wheels, though, are silver here, whereas on the other Horn model they were black, which wasn't as good because Edward was supposed to have blue wheels. So I decided to give this model a 9.5 out of 10. I think that's a fair and reasonable score. And as I said, I've got Hornby Henry in this range now, which I'll be talking about another time. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.